Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of An Agony as Now, a poem written by Imamu Amiri Baraka. Come, let's go to the summary. In this poem, the speaker talks about a person who is trapped inside the body of another person. We should remember that Baraka is a black American who is living in America. So we can compare this poem as telling about the black Americans living in America. But what he says is there is a body which is trapped inside another person's body. And this body hates the person which is inside it. And here the speaker is not able to escape from the body because he is trapped inside. And he says that it is something which you cannot imagine about the torture which the body which is inside is undergoing. And the speaker also says that he is only able to look out from the eyes of the body. Therefore, the body which is inside the person, inside the body can only see what the body sees. And it can only experience a physical sensation of what the body experiences, including the smell which the body breathes or the romantic interactions which it has with the women. And this body is trapped inside another body, and this outside body he compares it to a metal. And this metal is not an ordinary metal, it is like the coffin or a jail. And only the tiny openings inside the body allows the light inside for the person inside. And because of this, the speaker feels that he is completely removed from the natural world. At the same time, the speaker also tells that he is also corrupted because he is experiencing all the physical pleasure which the body is enjoying. And while the speaker is stuck inside his own body, the other bodies interact with it without any feelings. And the other bodies are hard and mechanic, and even the speaker's body is hard and mechanic. So he feels that everyone around are only hard and mechanic, and there is nothing human about them. And the speaker feels that he is trapped in his flesh, and because of this, he feels that he is living in a society where the people who are privileged prey on the weaker section. The weaker people are sucked away. Everything from the weaker people are enjoyed by the dominance of the upper class or the privileged one. And then he goes on to describe about his past life. He says in the past he was blind and he was surrounded by enemies. And not only that, in the past the speaker was carried around as though he was a dead man. And this may be because of his beauty or because of the pity that others had for him. And the speaker lists out different types of pains which he had undergone. The first pain is what he describes as what he is feeling at this moment. Because at this moment, the flesh in which the person is hurting him. And he says that this pain is caused because he has no connection with the body in which he is. The body and the person are separated, and the body does not like the person. And therefore, the flesh is turning against him and it is wounding him. And the second pain is the memory of the past. And in that memory, he can remember a woman running away from him into a forest. And that has hurt him and that has caused pain. And the next pain is the pain of losing your mind. You have lost your mind, and that is causing a lot of agony to the person. And then Baraka inserts an image of an old man searching for something in his books. And his fingers are said that it is withered yellow. It is looking like a withered yellow flowers. And he says that the beauty which he describes could also be the beauty of the cold men in their gale. Cold men means hard-hearted men. Gale means storm. So you can imagine our hard-hearted men will be during a storm. Already the climate is also not good. And being with a hard-hearted man, you cannot imagine of them being very compassionate with you. And at that time, these cold men's robes are flapping because they are in a storm, and their dishes have no food. There is no food at all for them. And the speaker also says that it is so much of chaos around him, so much of confusion around him, that you cannot find any sense in any of the things which are happening around them. There is only disaster which he is experiencing, and that proves that God is also only a person. Here we can interpret this line in two ways. Either the poet is trying to bring down God as a human being to the level of human beings, or he is trying to take particular human beings to the level of God, lifting up them to the level of God. In fact, the speaker says that he was at one time a blind man. That means now he is not blind, he is able to see everything. And the flesh of this blind man is like a white hot metal. And this white hot metal will glow brightly like the sun. And the speaker also reveals that he lives in a human love. So now he realizes what can make the person live the life and not just be inside, trapped inside another body. So he says that it is only the feelings very important. If you're just going to get trapped inside the body, and if you're going to just see what the body is seeing and what the body is experiencing, you will never come out. At this time, the poet brings the body high above the body in which it is trapped, and it makes it to live with emotions instead of just being trapped inside. And the speaker says that he has now realized what is real existence. It is love and compassion for the other people. Like, you have to love your people around you, and you also must be in a position to receive their love, and only then it means that you're really existing. You cannot live in a society which hates you or which does not want you, and you will not be able to show love to them because they will not reciprocate it. At the same time, you as a human being cannot live in this world without love. And so the implicit meaning in this poem is that you cannot live in this world only with flesh. The world around you must be connected to you as a person. You should have feelings, you should have actions, and your actions must have meaning. And only that love which you have for the people around you can make you live, not just your body. That is, the body which is having life is not your life. The feelings and your actions which you do in your life are only making you to feel that you are a human being, and that is what will make you to live in this world. And in the last stanza he says that many people are forced to live inside a body which is like a metal, because this metal has no emotions, it has no connections, it has no soul, and it is only a torture to live inside a metal. And therefore the soul which is living inside these bodies are screaming in the final line, and we are given a solution to the problem which is posed by the separation of the soul and the body. Here we should understand that is talking about the black Americans who are living in America, where they are not receiving the actual love and compassion which they should receive as a human being, and they are not liked there. People don't like them there. They are thinking that they are separate, like how the body is thinking that the person inside it is a different person, and therefore it is only torturing him, and there is also no escape for the body. There is no escape for the person also. The person has to be inside the body cannot avoid the person, and the person also cannot escape from the body, and this is how the life is going. So we'll go to the poem and we'll see what he's saying. He's saying, I am inside someone who hates me. So he says, I am a person and I'm living inside the body of a person who hates me. I look out from his eyes. See, whatever I see is only what he sees. Smell what foul tunes come into his breath, and I can only smell whatever he is smelling. Love his wretched women, and I can only love the women with which the body is having relationship. Slits in the metal for sun, and they are small openings for the sunlight to come inside. Here it can mean that he is enjoying certain pleasures, only what is allowed for him there, and that only happens during some times. Where my eyes sit turning at the cold air, the glance of the light or hard flesh rub against me, a man, a woman, a man, without shadow or voice or meaning. And he says all these happy moments will come only once in a while, and this can come through a woman or a man, but it has no shadow, there is no voice, and even those words have no meaning. That is, there is no meaning in the life in which they are living there. This is the enclosure. That is, he says, I am inside a body and this flesh is enclosing me, where innocence is a weapon. And we are all very innocent and we think that this innocence is our weapon. An abstraction, touch, not mine or yours. If you are the soul I had and abandoned when I was blind and had my enemies carry me as a dead man. And so he says, are you the body which was carrying me like a dead man? Because I was inside you and at that time I was blind. And this body was carrying me around like as though people carry a dead man. And they were only enemies around me. No one around me liked me. But I was living there. Or if he is beautiful or pitied. And he says, why was the body carrying me? Was it out of pity or was it because it thought I'm beautiful? I don't know. But for some reason it was carrying me. And when I was blind, I was like a dead man inside that body. It can be pain as now as all his flesh hurts me. So here he says, it is only pain, like the pain which I'm experiencing now. It can be that or pain as when she ran from me into that forest. Then he talks about the second pain which he experienced in the past where a woman ran away from him into the forest. Or pain, the mind silver spiral whirled against the sun, higher than even old men thought God would be. Or it can be the pain where we thought that God had given up on us. God has given away us. That caused a pain in us. Or pain and the other, the yes, inside his books, his fingers, they are withered yellow flowers and were never beautiful. Or is it the pain which is like an old man searching in the book for something and his fingers are like a withered yellow flowers, and looking at the fingers we know that these fingers have never been beautiful. So he says that their lives, that is the life of the black Americans, have never been beautiful. It was only sorrow and it was only pain which they have experienced. The yes, you will, lost soul say beauty. But some of them will say, no, 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 you're beauty, you're having a better life than what you had before. Beauty practiced as the tree, but this beauty, that is the life of the black Americans in America, is something which was practiced. It was made them to, everyone made them to think that they are living a better life. But he says, no, we are not happy. The slow river, a white sun in its wet sentences. He says, it is as though we are a slow river. It is as though we are wet sentences in the white sun. Because when you write a wet sentence in the white sun, soon the wetness will evaporate and go, and the sentence will become invisible. So, whatever we say, no one is going to hear it. Or the cold men in their gale, ecstasy, flesh or soul. Or it must be the cold men, that is, the people who don't like us, people who hate us in their storm. And we don't know whether it is the body or the soul which experienced all that, because we suffered both physically and even our soul suffered. The yes, their robes blown, their bowls empty, they chant at my heels, not at yours. And he says, in that storm, the robes, the clothes were blown away, the plates all were empty without any food, and they only kept on praying. Flesh or soul as corrupt. At the same time, he says we have to agree that both our body and our soul became corrupt. Where the answer moves too quickly, where the God is a self after all. And the way we lived, we started even thinking that God is also what we see, after all, only a person. So here he brings God to a different level. That is, he brings God to the level of human beings or raises human beings to the height of God. Cold air blown through narrow blind eyes. Here cold air can be air which is very cruel to you, and when a air can be very cruel to a blind eyes, already the eyes cannot see, and when cold air blows it is more cruel. Flesh, white hot metal. And here he says the flesh is like a white hot metal. Metals will not have any feeling, and he says that the flesh is like a white hot metal, glows as the day with its sun, and as the sun comes the metal also glows. It is human love I live inside. Now he realizes that he is able to live only when he experiences human love. A bony skeleton you recognize as words of simple feeling. Even a simple feeling can make his life worthy. It can make him live the world. but it has no feelings as the metal is hot. It is not given to love. But he is living in a metal where the metal will not give love or experience love. Therefore, the metal will not realize any feeling, and since he is inside that body, he will also not experience any feeling. It brings the thing inside it, and that thing screams. And whatever this body is going to bring inside is only hurting the body inside, and the body is screaming. So he ends the poem by saying that all people need love to live, and particularly the black Americans who are living in America, they need the love of the people who are around them, and they also want to show love towards them to show that they are living a meaningful life. And he ends the poem here. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you want to add on anything to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. It will be useful to others. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe. Thank you.